Alright, welcome back. We might just break our stuff today. Okay. We are trying something out. And I don't really know how it's going to go. I like to do these tests with no experience. Just because, I feel like it's good content. Things could go really poorly. Hopefully we do get some bites though. Alright, so on one of my previous videos I mentioned while I was recording the video that someone on one of the comment section said something like, hey, there's this place, try to catch some wild carp, and you might occasionally get a sturgeon. And I was like, okay, I assume they're talking about Akhtuba. Where are you fishing at? Well, when I was doing some research, I happened to find a Russian stream from earlier today where someone was fishing in this location. So 138, which is actually here. We could probably move our stuff down a little bit. And it seemed like they were casting 16 meters out to the right of that rock pile there. So like right about there. That's what it looked like. Are we on like some kind of slant? Is that why it's so hard to put our gear down? I guess we are. Now, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Maybe that's what the person in the comment section was talking about. I still don't know if it was, but it very, very likely could be. Because when you see people fishing a spot, word usually gets around. Maybe we need to move farther down, even just a little bit more farther down. But all right, so let me show you the setups here, though. And we'll quit moving them for now. Okay, so we are using a very overloaded setup here. This is 80-pound line, 36.4 kilo load capacity line on my Vinga. And that's as overloaded as I've ever had it. Oh, crap. There's actually a couple other things I want to. Yep, that is a wild carp. So that is what we're expecting to primarily catch in this spot. It's really annoying. Let's see if I move stuff down. Am I still going to be at 5138? Yeah. So let me move it down farther. I'd like to be able to put my stuff down at the same sort of basic location in terms of not having to like walk backwards and stuff. All right, that's close enough. Let's get those tightened up again. Make sure they're not actually drifting down the river. I do not think they are. These should hold. The current is not too strong here, hopefully. All right, so this is where we are. We're right here, like towards the edge of where this channel starts. So that's the first thought. If the fish is going to run, we want it to run left, yeah? But it's a dangerous spot either way. If it runs right, it eventually gets past where we can go. If it runs left, it could split us onto this other piece of land. I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Again, the thing that is scary, and I don't know that we're going to catch fish this big, but if you look at the weekly records for wild carp, assuming this is the spot that people are using, they are humongous fish. And they are using halibut pellets 18, freshwater krill 18, 5 different people all using the same baits. Okay. Now, if you'll notice on this first line, we do have 2-0 hooks. I haven't used 2-0 hooks to go for carp in ages and ages. I'm using red krill dip, although to be honest, from the Russian video I saw, I don't know Russian, so I couldn't tell for sure that was the dip, but it looked like it was. And then I'm using the krill mix that we've been using. it's probably fine. Again, I can't see what the Russians' ground PVA bag is actually made of, but we're going to assume that it's something like that. And let's just see how it goes. I don't really know what to expect here. I do know I can go ahead and show you the second and third line. So on the second line, we went down to a 1.0 hook, so a little smaller. We have our Megara well overloaded with 70-pound line, so 32 kilo, and a similar leader on there, same baits. And then finally on the third line, we're down to the normal carp hook size for me, which is 1 large. And this has got actually 60-pound line on it with 27 kilo fluorocarbon line, which is the normal strength I would use, to be honest, on the Megara, and then maybe slightly more than that on the Beluga. So we've got everything sort of one tier up, overloaded more than I normally would. This is how a lot of people fish with this gear. Some of the top level players certainly have, a lot of them have spent the money to get 3 Vingas, and they definitely overload them because they're going for these really big fish. I'm not used to going for the largest of fish, like going for big catfish or the larger version of sturgeon and all that. So I don't know how this is going to go. I may get really hammered here, and I may not know how to control the oversized fish. Someone was asking earlier for a video showing them how to catch really large fish. Well, I've done some of that, but not much. There's people that have gotten a lot more experience than I do. I remember talking with someone and fishing with someone who used to go for these huge fish, and they would basically have to tire out the fish and then lock up their friction brake, sort of step back, lock up their friction brake, hold it to the side, and then slowly make progress on bringing the fish in. It was this crazy dangerous, it was amazing. It took a long time because of how you had to wear out the fish, exhaust the fish, and then just the process of slowly trying to drag that fish in. It was a very slow process, but that was how they were getting in some of the larger fish in the game. Since we don't have heavy bait casters yet, we're definitely working at a disadvantage on the size of some of these fish in the water. So far, 2 wild carp, very small ones from what we could see here. Now, I don't know, you look at those 100+ pound wild carp. I don't know, even though those are showing up on the weekly, those might be very rare. I mean, the more common sizes might be much more, smaller than that. But there is at least the potential in this river this week to catch unreasonably large wild carp. And because I've seen this spot in action, I'm thinking this may be one of the locations people are doing that at. So we'll see how it goes. We're breaking up the nice, safe bream fishing. It's reliable silver. I know what I'm doing, and we're throwing in a little bit of this scary, I'm not sure what's going on, fishing. I still hope to get back to Oldberg tonight, but we'll have to see how this goes. This may exhaust me. We'll see. And I was going to try to look to see kind of what the bite rate was for other people. I have at least one video of someone fishing here. So here's bastard sturgeon, again caught on these same baits. So that may be the sturgeon that people are catching. Maybe belugas, but not the largest belugas, thankfully. I mean, we're not going to be able to get a beluga in, I don't think. I think that will completely overwhelm me. Looks like people have also been catching these Caspians on these same baits, so that's kind of interesting. Just trying to see if there's anything else that is showing up. What else would be? Oh, is it the Persians? Yeah, look at that. Persian sturgeons. I bet that's what primarily. So when that person was telling me, like, hey, you can catch wild carp and occasionally a sturgeon. Now that's interesting. Most of these are the same baits, but there's this one that's actually halibut's 20 instead of freshwater krill 18. So a little variety there, but most of them are the same. Russian sturgeon, Akhtuba, all on gold baits, at least the larger ones. Short-headed barbel. Again, I'm wondering, like, but are those fish coming in this spot? I mean, there could be multiple spots where people are using these same baits right now. This is not that different than the baits we are using over at that big-headed carp buffalo spot. So there may be multiple spots where some of the same type fishing's going on. I think this one is either has gotten off or is not, wasn't finished working on it there. I probably should have left that alone. So far 3 wild carp and all about the same size. I just want to see, like, are we going to catch anything else here in this same spot other than the wild carp? And does it change at night versus during the day? Perhaps we shall see. Yeah, it looks like what I'm experiencing here in terms of bite rate kind of looks pretty similar to what I'm seeing on this video. Nice Atlantic salmon brought out of Volkov there. Like to see that. Man, I've got some good memories of going for those Atlantics. All right. Oh, that is not. Oh, yeah, that is a wild carp. Thought that was something smaller for a second there, but it is a wild carp. A little bit bigger. We're still getting pretty small. Pretty small fish here. Very small. So small, we should make some fish pieces out of it. So I wonder how long people have been doing this. Just today. Well, I guess the week just reset, so... But man, they've been hitting it hard today. A lot of big ones today. Wow. That is scary. Like, I just don't even know. 49 kilo wild carp? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I ever get that fish in. I'd like to think maybe there's a chance, but I do not have the skills that some people do on these monster-sized fish. I bet that bream isn't going to hold up. It's already off. Ooh. Oh, wait. Hold on. I bet they weren't targeting bream with night crawlers. They were trying to get what, like eels or burbot or something. Pearl barley. Now that might be worth trying just to see what that does to the bite rate. Garlic dough was so good though. Garlic dough, garlic dough. Garlic dough, and then... Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Yeah, that Bream Weekly did not hold very long at all. So, on average, about every 5 minutes, we've got a fish. Hopefully somebody that has actually done this will let me know what PVA mix they're using. It could be a completely different PVA mix. All right, let's don't touch this line because I screwed up the last fish that was on this line. Alright, it should be on there now. So far, it does not feel like this fish is going to run on us. So if we start thinking it's going to run on us, we have to run and get ahead of it to keep it from going out into the wide open spaces. But it looks like we're just going to be able to muscle this fish in on this overpowered gear. That's a big head. That's not what we were expecting to catch here. But okay. It's a nice big head. We really don't want to get a weekly on this line. We'll have no chance. This is like way underpowered for this spot. But we have much smaller hook on here. Hopefully we'll dodge the big ones. I'm hoping this one will just be like the higher bite rate and just catch like normal wilds and stuff on it. That is the hope, at least. I mean, just think about that. That's a 6.7 kilo wild carp. Multiply that times 8. We might not should even have this line in the water. We should just do some float fishing. We might be able to catch Kessler's herring right here. I was kind of half kidding, but now that I've said it, let's just try that. I'm just curious if they are here. Just for a second, let's let me see if I can remember. We're going out like 10, depth 80, that should be good. Did I just do that the wrong direction? Yes. That would be really cool if we could catch Kessler's herring here, though, and work on float fishing a little bit. Does that look a little too far out from the shore for what the spots usually are? It might be fine. I certainly think it could be deeper. You know what? I've got to be careful because it was the movement of the line, not because there was a fish on, but because the fish had like nibbled on it and lifted the bait a little bit. And so the current was taking it or whatever. There's a fish on that line now. Look at what that line's doing. Whoop. Hope it's not big because it just took off in that direction. Alright, it's not big. That's a roach. We did get float fishing points. Let's go a little deeper down to 1 meter. And let's clip 9. I mean, it's fine catching anything on float fishing in some ways just to level it, but it's way more fun if you're catching those Kessler's herring. We're gonna have energy problems if this storm continues. It's going, it's just a matter of when. Come on. There we go. It's a sitchel again. We did get another point in float fishing though. Both lines getting a bite. So that could be the current. Still might be getting nibbles. approach. Yeah, so for whatever reason, we're not getting the Kessler's herring this far down. Oops. Sichel again, right? I don't mind the Sichel, but they're not as good as the Kessler's herring. Let's just make sure that if we do like a really short clip, we don't get one. If you really want to do this and get the Kessler's herring, it's not that far down from here to do it. You could put like horns on these so that they're loud enough for you to hear them. But probably what I'll do is just put the third wild carp line back in here shortly. We have got a couple of dings on float fishing, which is always nice. Ah. All right. I just clipped that too far. It's supposed to be 16, not 18. Yeah, people are fishing those Terrans. I saw someone, doing that on a video. Looked like they were, feeder fishing for it. Wow, 8 wild carp already. In my mind, I have that pound for pound, the wild carp are not that good for silver. But I guess we'll find out here in a few minutes. We'll go check it out. I can't go far because of how big some of these fish could be, but I really don't think it was far. It might have been... Was it almost down to the tip of that island? Or was it like... It was right here, wasn't it? Can we see the poles from here? I don't think we can. So you'd really have to have something that would make a loud noise, and then you'd have to hustle and hope for the best. But it's not that far. It really isn't. You could do, you know, it's tempting. It's close enough that it is really tempting. Now, the other thing you could do here, if you have really strong gear, is you could put some live bait fish in the water here, and I bet catch some of those big, nasty sturgeon on one line. That's fine. I was going to reel it back in to shorten the cast, but we'll just leave it there. We over clipped that one. Now we've got it under cast, I think, but I bet it's close enough. The downside of doing it that way, of course, is that you have to listen to the horns. Which is never fun. One of them's better than the other two, but I can't remember what it is, which one, what color it is. Come on. But if the bite rate's going to be this slow, I think for my own sanity, I would have to do that. I'd have 2 lines with the Wild Carp baits going, trying to see if you can get big fish in, and then 1 doing float fishing on those, if they're still biting good. They may not be. What are they? Kessler's herrings. Let's see how full the weekly is. Yesterday and today. All right, let's lower the amount of lines in the water. Uh-oh, sandwich. Interesting. Maybe sandwich baits is the way people catch the biggest ones of those. I think I heard someone talking about sandwich baits at some point when I was looking at the Kesslers. I'm not mistaken. Alright, before I go, let's just see if they're there. Can you imagine? I'm telling you, that is rough. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the spot is right here. Now you can go from some of the largest fish in the game to some of the smallest fish in the game. This is our chance to see if we can hear it good. Yeah, I can hear it. Okay. Just don't think about all the bream we could have caught in this amount of time. Just don't think about it. Nice. Okay, now this will be cool. If like all the herrings and stuff are biting here, and you have a chance of getting some nice wild carp and sturgeon and stuff, like, sign me up. This gives us something to do while we're waiting on those fairly rare bites. What? That's a nice one. It's weird that you catch them here, but you don't catch them just, you know, a little ways down the river. It's another one. That's pretty cool. All right, let's try it here. Just to see. Not even a nibble yet, huh? What is that? An eyed. Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be in an eyed spot with those leaders. Now here before we were catching sitchel and roach. Which is fine. Just something to do while we wait and see if that was really a bite coming on. Well, if you have done any really big wild carp fishing here recently, let me know if this is a spot you've used or if there's other spots I should try. Obviously the big wild carps are around right now, but I may not even be in the best spot for it. They're here, but I just haven't seen any big ones yet. It's getting a bite now. Take it, fish. Can't go any farther without stepping back first. There we go. Come on. Sitchel. I was trying to give it time for one more fish over there, but whoa. Now that is about as annoying as it gets. I'm not even sure that the fish is on yet. Yeah, it is. I think that's 3 wild carp that we've cut up. Oh, there's another one. So 8 marker wild carp. Probably about to be 9. And just under 24 hours in game. Most of that time using 2 rods. or at least half that time. Ooh, that's small. That's really small. All right. Let's wrap it up by seeing how we've done here. It's like the promise or the possibility of the chance of getting that big one is interesting, but the big one's still elusive for me. In one session at least. This might be the kind of thing where you really got to be patient. If I know that they're in the water there, I don't mind being patient just because I've never had a chance at a wild carp anywhere near the size that they seem to be coming out for some folks, but I might need a little dead side. What is that? Oh, I think that's a new PvP realistic military shooter or something that's coming out. Okay. We could do the roach order from float fishing. All right, nothing order-wise that helps us. All right, so first thing we want to see here is the wild carp. So just the wild carp, 76 silver. That's not bad. But what else did we catch there? Okay, we caught the one big head for 31 silver. Was there anything else we caught? Oh, no, everything else was float fishing. So all in all, we did 145 silver. Look at that black spine herring for 15 silver, 108 grams. That is ridiculous. That was the second most expensive fish we caught, and it was on a 3.2 fluorocarbon leader match rod. All right, so not bad. 145 silver, and you could certainly hit it big. I mean, imagine how much a 20 kilo wild carp is, much less a 50 kilo. So that could add up. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to do more fishing here or if we're going to try bream fishing again. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's wrap this video up and then I'll start thinking about it. But as always, thanks for watching, and I do hope to see you again next time.